Local 4 News begins right now with a breaking news alert.
Good afternoon, everyone. You're taking a live look right now at breaking news we're following out of Southwest Detroit. We have just learned this crash involves a DPD officer that had to be rushed to the hospital after being injured in this accident. The scene is Michigan Avenue and Clark Street, and you can see that roadway is completely blocked off, and there is significant damage to that vehicle that you see there on your screen. It almost looks like it was sliced in half. We are working to learn more information. Right now, we can only tell you what we see here and that we know an officer has been injured. And we will continue to try and keep you updated in terms of the extent of those injuries. That we don't know right now, but we are monitoring the scene there, and we'll update you again during this newscast as we get more information. Other news that is topping our newscast here at noon: the Detroit Zoo unveiling plans to build a new attraction in Macomb County. Nick Monticelli is live with a preview of what's to come. What do we have, Nick?
Rhonda, good afternoon. The question is, where is this going to be? The answer, I don't know yet, but this is one of the options. Lake St. Clair Metro Park here in Harrison Township off of 16 Mile Road. We can show you some of the bullet points. They said they want to build this new Macomb County Nature Center. It will be called the Great Lakes Nature Center. It will be 20,000 square feet in size, $10 million, but as we just said, the location is to be determined. Now, the announcement was this morning. It'll be operated by the Detroit Zoo with about 20 employees and 100 volunteers, but as you saw, again, they don't know where yet. There are a few ideas in mind, including here again at Metro Park, but nothing set in stone yet. In fact, leaders are hoping for more ideas. They're also looking for funding, as they want to make sure this entire project is privately financed. And what will be at this new nature center, you ask? The list is pretty lengthy.
Many live animal exhibits and habitats, including a number of aquatic species, so there'll be quite a few freshwater aquariums in the Nature Center, but there will also be many other species, many of them rescued, many of them endangered.
So it's going to be a combination nature center slash aquarium slash reptiles exhibits, whatever you want to see. They're going to have it here. Now, the fees, what's it going to cost you to come in? They also don't know that just yet, Rhonda, but they're guessing, just guessing, maybe about $6 to $7 per adult and $3 to $4 per child. And when will this be done? About 2 years from now. We're live here in Harrison Township. Nick Monticelli, Local 4.
Wow, certainly exciting. Thank you, Nick. And boy, Nick makes Harrison Township looks like it's a balmy, warm day. The sunshine glistening down, but it is definitely cold out there. As we take a look at our sky cams from Romulus to Detroit and Mount Clemens, Brandon, our temperatures are struggling today.
They are. We're getting a little bit of milky sunshine and winds coming off of the big lakes to the east, so struggling to warm up one last time. We are in the low and middle 20s in some spots, 24 Ann Arbor, 24 Metro, 24 in Lapeer after starting sub-zero this morning. You do have to factor in a little bit of a breeze, not real strong, but it is in the teens. That's what it feels like, so it is gloves and hat weather, thicker coat if you're going to be out and about for a little while. Even up in the thumb, if you saw Sandusky, wind chill of 5 right now. We're on our way to about 30 degrees into the afternoon hours. And again, this is the last of the really cool stuff. We've got a warming trend moving in. Snow showers north of Lansing that'll be fizzling out approaching Saginaw and Flint, but precipitation that could be liquid in the 7-day coming up.
Brandon, thank you. The campus crisis at Michigan State University continues in the wake of the Larry Nassar criminal scandal, and it will take another turn later today. The MSU Faculty Senate is meeting this afternoon and will vote on a motion of no confidence in the university's Board of Trustees. If the no confidence vote succeeds, the Faculty Senate will then call on all board trustees of Michigan State University to resign immediately. What we've been hearing up to now is that those trustees do not plan to resign. Local 4 will be monitoring that meeting and report the results. Also today, Michigan State has hired the law firm led by former Michigan Governor Jim Blanchard to represent the school in Washington. And at any moment now, trash tycoon Chuck Rizzo could turn himself in. The deadline for Rizzo to surrender was set for noon today. He currently faces corruption and bribery charges and has been free on bond since November, but that bond, well, it was revoked last week after a judge found that he intimidated a key FBI witness in the case and a former employee of his that he was ordered to stay away from. The leaders of America's intelligence agencies are telling Congress today that the nation faces growing global threats in many forms. The intelligence chiefs report on global threats every year to Congress, and this year they say that threats come from Russia, China, North Korea, and other countries and groups like the Islamic State. Now, while the threats take many forms, the director of national intelligence sees cyber threats as his biggest concern.
Frankly, the United States is under attack by entities that are using cyber to penetrate virtually every major action that takes place in the United States. There should be no doubt that Russia perceived that its past efforts as successful and views the 2018 U.S. midterm elections as a potential target for Russian influence operations.
The intelligence chiefs also told Congress that the global threat from weapons of mass destruction is also on the rise. Well, with clear weather expected for today, it's a prime time to start patching up the potholes. So MDOT is fixing the worst potholes throughout the metro area freeways. There are two sections of eastbound I-696 that we've talked a lot about that are problem spots that will have up to 3 lanes closed. It's 696 between DeQuinder to Ryan and from Telegraph to Losser. Now, southbound I-75 will also have up to 3 lanes closed. This is from Coolidge to Square Lake Road. And finally, repairs will finish up on the southbound side of Telegraph from Orchard Lake to Square Lake, and the northbound side will only have the right lane open today. All repairs are expected to end by 7 o'clock tonight. For more information about the lane closures, you can check that out at clickondetroit.com, but just prepare for some delays, but for good reason. Trying to protect your tires and damage to your car. Well, as many of you know, today is Fat Tuesday, and the folks in Hamtramck are out in full force to get their hands on a punchki from the New Palace Bakery. That's just one of the bakeries we stopped at early this morning. People waited long as 2 hours to get their hands on the Fat Tuesday treat. Preparations at New Palace Bakery began long before the crowd showed up. They start actually the day after Christmas by getting together a shopping list, and after over a month and a half of preparations, the day finally comes to bake. And they opened their doors at 3 o'clock this morning, and we watched the lines all day, and you can still get one now. Still ahead at noon, why a man who called 911 to report a break-in ended up in police custody himself. And want to get you back to our breaking news. We're following the intersection of Michigan Avenue and Clark Street blocked off because of a serious accident. A DBT officer was rushed to the hospital after being injured in the crash. These are live pictures from the scene in southwest Detroit, again at Michigan Avenue and Clark Street, where there is significant damage to those vehicles. Right now, we don't know the extent of the officer's injuries or if anyone else was injured, but we are monitoring the scene and we'll keep you updated both here and on Click on Detroit. We'll be right back.
Did you know?
Welcome back, everyone. Troubling new research is suggesting that African American, Hispanic, and low-income children are most likely to be exposed to harmful toxins in school. Air pollution in several U.S. communities across the country is being linked to brain-related problems and disease that are believed to directly affect students' learning abilities. A new study combining EPA and census data found the 5 worst polluted areas in the United States include New York, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Camden, and Jersey City, New Jersey. Children in these communities are most likely to be exposed to harmful neurotoxins, including lead, mercury, cyanide compounds in their schools. A man in Washington State community called 911 to report a suspected break-in, but ended up in custody himself because he's an undocumented immigrant. When police conducted a routine check on the ID of Wilson Macario, They turned up a 2004 federal warrant that called for him to be deported back to Honduras. He is now in federal custody, and many in the community are upset. Police say that they will no longer respond to those warrants.
It is vital that every member of our community feels safe and comfortable when calling our police department for help. We will take a thorough look at our practices and policy to ensure we do better moving forward.
Wilson Macareno remains in federal custody in Tacoma, Washington, while immigration attorneys are working to free him and prevent his deportation. Still to come here on your Tuesday. It's Tasty Tuesday around here. And if you're searching for a sweet idea for your Valentine, boy, do we have a tasty one for you. Coming up, we'll introduce you to this Macomb County bakery, just opened for a couple of weeks, who's putting loads of love and creativity into every delicious cake and cupcake. Brandon.
I was staring at that. 53 in San Francisco right now. We've got 30s in parts of the Midwest, but we're stuck in the teens and 20s. One last day, your heart will be warmed by the Valentine's Day warm-up. Coming up next.
And if you are getting out and about this noon, we do want to keep you abreast of the situation along Michigan Avenue and Clark Streets. There is a severe accident scene there blocking the roadway. We've learned a DPD officer had to be rushed to the hospital after being injured in this crash. These are live pictures again in Southwest Detroit at Michigan Avenue and Clark. As we learn more about that officer's condition or if there were any other injuries, you can see severe damage to the accident vehicles. We will continue to keep you updated both here and on clickondetroit.com. We're back in a moment. Right now,
welcome back to Local 4 News at noon. A couple of StormPins here to share. All things, all for pets, of course. Cookie 61 up in Oakland County, Highland Township. Daisy and Minnie enjoying the snow. Take a look. We've got two little dogs out there. Get lost in some of this snow, but then we've got the American Husky that is meant for this snow. From Malty Chick, this is in West Bloomfield Township, and Loki. Now, Loki made that tunnel himself, his cave, and then he dug in there and he said, let's go. I got all this fur that I'm shedding all over Mom and Dad's house. It's meant for the snow cave. Thanks for sharing your pictures. Want to see more of them on Local 4 StormPins, a free app. Just search WDIV. Well, it's milky sunshine and 24 degrees out there, but a decent looking day. 17 for a wind chill. The winds aren't that strong, but strong enough to knock those numbers down a little bit. We'll hit 30 today with, again, mostly high cloudiness, providing that milky sunshine, but not a lot left as we have a little bit of cloud cover that's going to be pouring in here the rest of the afternoon. Overnight tonight, temps actually staying steady, if not rising a little bit. We could wake up to low 30s early on your Valentine's Day tomorrow, just the beginning of the warm-up. And notice the replay of the snow coming through Grand Rapids, fizzling out. Dry air winning here. We have the winds coming off of the big lakes producing that dry air and fending off any of those snow showers. And as we go into Wednesday and Thursday, this area of high pressure that is provided us with stable weather the last couple of days. The clockwise flow around this, you can see it here, is sliding east, and so we get what's called the return flow. It's dragging air up out of the south, and we get warmer. We also get some rain chances, not so much on your Valentine's Day, but Thursday could get a couple of spotty soakers. Here's the first half of Wednesday, sunshine, nice, warming up quickly. But as we go into Thursday, wet weather starts to move in here. And again, mainly in the afternoon, maybe some morning drizzle on Thursday, but both Wednesday, Thursday, well into the 40s. Watch the big melt with some storm drains, maybe clogged with all the snow and freezing rain. So we want to watch that as we cool off briefly. Friday, Saturday, it looks warm again by Sunday. A Motor City match winner is Motor City making it. On this Valentine's Day Eve, Yell Sweets adds passion and love to their treats that beat the competition.
If you like sweets like we like sweets, somebody yell sweets.
Everybody calls me Cupcake.
She's pastry chef Danielle Jackson, owner of Yell Sweets in Shelby Township, the Cupid of cupcakes and the heavenly homemade cakes.
Peach cobbler, banana pudding, chocolate eclair, strawberry shortcake, sweet potato.
Danielle dabbled in dough for as long as she knows, learning from mom, dad, and grandma, who could all tell her mission was Yell.
That's my mission, is to bring back the love and the sweetness back into the joyness of cupcakes.
Her take on the #1 cupcake at Yell?
Chocolate Oreo is the #1 fan, and with that one, it's a chocolate cupcake, and it has cream cheese and an Oreo cookie in the middle, with cream cheese frosting and Oreo cookies on top.
Chef Jackson creates memories, making moist, melt-in-your-mouth flavors from fresh ingredients and a passion for her product.
Peach cobbler with peaches in the frosting, and also it's fresh homemade crust on top.
Yell, yeah. Yell Sweets beats most when it comes to cakes, colossal in size and originality, like the chocolate eclair and strawberry shortcake.
Vanilla and chocolate cake swirl with cream cheese frosting and the eclair crust around it. And that one is a vanilla and strawberry swirl cake with strawberry cream cheese in the middle, with cream cheese around it and the strawberry crunch.
Rhonda, I got nervous as a type 1 of going into shock. It was so good. Couldn't lay off. Yell Sweets is offering a Tasty Tuesday deal, a half dozen cupcakes for $10, which is a $5 discount, or a dozen for $20. You can get an individual cupcake for $2. It's $1 off, but you have to mention Tasty Tuesday, and they're located on Lakeside Boulevard up near the Lakeside Mall and Hall Road in Shelby Township.
Oh, and it is delicious. That chocolate Oreo and the peach cobbler. I might have tasted both of those for breakfast this morning. We're back in a moment. Before we go, we do want to keep you updated. A DPD officer has been rushed to the hospital injured in the crash you're looking at right here that has completely ripped a vehicle in half along Michigan Avenue and Clark Street in southwest Detroit. We don't have a lot of information, but we do know that this was a serious injury accident and that the officer had to be rushed to the hospital. We are continuing to work to get more information, but that's what we know now. Avoid the intersection of Michigan Avenue and Clark Street.
Alt 106.
Welcome back, everybody. Our breaking news, a DPD officer in serious condition following a crash here in the intersection of Michigan Avenue and Clark Street. He's been taken to the hospital. These are live pictures in southwest Detroit. That's all we know right now, but we're continuing to monitor the situation. We'll keep you updated on clickondetroit.com throughout the afternoon. We do not know the severity of his injuries. Meanwhile, listen to this. According to a 2017 Gallup poll, people in the United States may not be living their best lives, with many experiencing a decline in overall well-being.
South Dakota and Vermont were ranked the happiest and healthiest states in the U.S. Residents in both states tend to have good health, feel safe in their communities, and manage their finances well, making it into the top 5. Also, Hawaii, Minnesota, and North Dakota.
So at the bottom of the list for the 9th straight year is West Virginia. Apparently it's due to high rates of obesity, smoking, diabetes, and depression. 21 states declined in well-being and none saw improvement. As for Michigan, we rank as the 32nd happiest state on the list. You feeling happy?
Yeah.
Have a good and happy day. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Hope the weather doesn't bum anybody out.
Sunshine helps.
Yeah.